You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And it's Friday nights with Nautica de la Cruz. Nautica, it's good to see you.
It is so good to see you. It seems like I haven't seen you in forever, but here we are. We are back together again. And while you were gone, I got to discover some new places in Southern California that I haven't been. And I took a nice drive to the Santa Barbara Zoo out in Santa Barbara, where adventure awaits. The Santa Barbara Zoo is nestled in 30 lush acres overlooking the beautiful, stunning Pacific Ocean and the Santa Ynez Mountains. The Santa Barbara Zoo is probably one of the most beautiful places you'll ever see, and they have these amazing animals. It's a vibrant world of exploration, learning, and excitement. The Santa Barbara Zoo is home of over 500 animals from around the globe, and it offers captivating glimpses into the life of creatures large and small, from the majestic Maasai giraffes that grace the African savanna to the playful antics of the endangered Amur leopards. Every visit promises a new adventure. You could wander through the beautifully landscaped habitats and encounter species like the California condor, the western lowland gorillas, who looks like my uncle, and adorable humboldt penguins. And trust me, I wanted to bring one home, but unfortunately, my tub isn't big enough, and I don't have a pool, and I don't have a big backyard.
But outside of that,
I couldn't bring one home, okay? So the zoo is just, the zoo isn't just about observing animals. It's about getting close and personal with them. You could also feed the giraffe. I got to feed the giraffe. For a few bucks, you could give them lettuce and feel the excitement as it gently plucks the food from your hand. You could also watch the delight of children's faces as they ride the zoo train, which I highly suggest, which travels through the grounds over unique views of the exhibits. And don't miss the barnyard, where the kids can pet friendly goats and sheep. It really is a lot of fun for adults and children. And as an adult, I felt like a kid, but at the end of the day, I'm still an adult. But like I said, the train ride is definitely a must. The Santa Barbara Zoo is committed to conservation and education, making it an ideal destination for curious minds. Engage in interactive exhibits that highlight the zoo efforts to protect endangered species and habitats, Participants in hands-on educational programs designed to inspire a love and a wildlife and a natural world. The zoo's involvement in various breeding programs and also wildlife rehabilitation efforts demonstrates its dedication to preserving biodiversity, and they are very strong and adamant on that. The excitement doesn't stop at the animal exhibits, though. The Santa Barbara Zoo also hosts a variety of special events throughout the year that promise fun for the whole family. Like, for example, during the holidays, they have what's called the Zoo Lights, and that is during the holiday season. And they also have what they call Zoo Brew, a beer festival, which I thought that was a pretty creative name. So there's always something to do at the Santa Barbara Zoo, and with its breathtaking coastal views and beautifully manicured gardens, the Santa Barbara Zoo is a feast for the senses. So stroll around the grounds, and you could just feel the tranquility, the peace, and you could even feel the ocean breeze. The scenic backdrop provides the perfect setting for an enjoyable day out. It's a place where joy meets discovery and where every corner brings you face to face with the wonders of the natural world. So, pack your SPF, pack your good sense of humor, pack some good shoes, and take a stroll to the Santa Barbara Zoo, where the wild things are waiting for you. It is open daily, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., rain or shine. It's located at 500 Ninos Drive in Santa Barbara, and it's easy accessible and offers ample parking. Tickets can also be purchased online, or you could also purchase them at the gate. And they do have special rates for children, seniors, and groups. Prices range from like $15 to $25, and also
that's affordable.
Yeah, it is. It's not that bad. The train ride was maybe $5-6. I can't remember. And also, don't forget to stop by the zoo gift shop. They have some unique souvenirs that will definitely remind you of your wild adventure. So, for more information, you could log on to www.sbzoo.org. That's sbzoo.org, and it really is probably one of the most beautiful zoos I've been to. I've been to many. I've been to the Bronx Zoo. I've been to the LA Zoo. But this one is just very clean. And the fact that it's near the beach, I think that's what makes it so special.
Since Santa Barbara's not right around the corner for a lot of us, I noticed that you said it closed at 5 p.m. I don't remember as far as when the LA Zoo would close, but 5 p.m. seems a little bit early. Did that impact your day when you were there?
Well, I went early in the morning, but I know they have the animals. I talked to someone that worked there, and I was kind of curious about that too, but they have them on a set schedule of when to eat and when to sleep.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, but I never really thought about that as far as visitors.
Oh, yeah. Visitors, well, I will say, like I said, they are open 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., rain or shine. But, you know, if you want to go, even if it's on a Saturday, they're open every single day. I suggest that you go there early. And also, one thing is, like I said, bring your SPF because it could be hot over here in, you know, Burbank, as we're in Burbank, LA. But it could be overcast in Santa Barbara. When I went, it was a little overcast. So I did have a sweater and I did, wear sunscreen 45, because even on a cloudy day, you could still burn. And remember, like I said, it's very, very close to the beach.
I always remembered going to the LA Zoo as a child, multiple occasions. It was a big deal going to petting zoo. That kind of thing. But I wonder about zoos and kids today. Did you see a lot of kids? Was it well attended by young people? Were they on their phones? Because even young children have phones.
No, I don't think I saw a child with a phone. I also saw that a lot of kids were very much engaging and they were quick to want to pet or feed, as I mentioned earlier. And also, during certain times of the day, in the middle, there's this beautiful grass area. It's kind of like a platform. And they have someone who speaks about, you know, whether it's a bird or, you know, a certain animal. And kids are very much engaging, you know, and you learn a lot. And it's a really, it's a beautiful zoo, and it's clean. I've never seen such a clean, beautiful zoo in my life. I've experienced the LA Zoo before, but it's different because you kind of hike up and it's in nearby Griffith Park.
Right.
But this was just, you feel like you were just out. Honestly, it didn't feel like you were in a zoo. It felt like you were out, some sort of animal kingdom, some sort of jungle or something. Like a preserve? Like a preserve, yes, but beautiful, just very, very clean. And, the animals are just amazing. And like I said, for a few bucks, you could feed the goats and you could feed the giraffe and you could take that train. That train ride is really, really nice. And it's just sometimes it's nice to get away from LA, you know, and go near the beach area and just, you know, kind of indulge and just feel a little bit of peace and serenity. And that's kind of what I was looking for too. I took my car, I went and I said, wherever my car takes me, that's where I'm going. And then I saw the sign as I was driving on the 101 and I was like, let me see what this is about. And I was like, okay, it's affordable. I could go in.
Yeah, we all have to make those decisions along the way.
Yeah, because, you know, groceries are expensive. So is food.
When we come back, we'll have more with Nautica de la Cruz as far as Friday Nights with Nautica and also her hidden gem. So keep it right here.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And we continue with Friday Nights with Nautica de la Cruz and her hidden gem.
Thank you, Mo. Today's hidden gem is probably my youngest hidden gem. Her name is Tina Ramirez, and she has always loved the ocean. Growing up in Santa Monica, the beach was her sanctuary, a place of endless waves and the salty breeze that felt like home. So when her high school announced a community service project to clean up the local beaches, Tina didn't hesitate to sign up. On a bright Saturday morning, armed with gloves and trash bags, Tina joined a group of volunteers at the Santa Monica Pier. The beach was bustling with joggers, families, and surfers, but Tina's focus was on the bits of plastic and debris scattered along the shoreline. With determination in her eyes, she knelt down and started to pick up trash piece by piece. As she worked, Tina couldn't help but reflect on how much the beach meant to her and to everyone in the community, and even myself. It was a place for relaxation, for play, and for connecting with nature. Each cigarette butt and bottle cap she collected felt like a little small victory, a step towards preserving this precious environment. Throughout the day, Tina bonded with other volunteers, sharing stories and laughter amidst in their shared mission. Together, they combed the sands, making a noticeable difference as they filled bag after bag with litter. As the sun slowly began to set, casting a golden glow over the Pacific, Tina stood back and surveyed the beach with a sense of pride. It wasn't just about cleaning up trash. It's about protecting something they all cherished. With a renewed appreciation for the ocean and a commitment to environment, Tina knew that this wouldn't be her last day of volunteering. The beach had given her so much, and now she was giving back. With a smile, Tina Ramirez left the beach knowing that her efforts alongside those of her fellow volunteers from healthebay.org had made a difference, one piece of trash at a time. HealTheBay.org is a prominent environmental nonprofit organization based in Santa Monica, dedicated to protecting coastal waters and watersheds of Southern California. Founded in 1985, Heal the Bay has become a leading advocate for clean waters initiatives, coasting preservation, and environmental education. The organization's mission centers around ensuring the health and sustainability of marine and freshwater ecosystems throughout research, education, community outreach, and advocacy. One of Heal the Bay's primary focuses is water quality monitoring and advocacy. They actively monitor water quality at beaches throughout Southern California, providing the public with up-to-date information on pollution levels and beach conditions. This data is crucial for informing beachgoers, policymakers, and community members about environmental health risks and the importance of conservation efforts. In addition to their monitoring efforts, Heal the Bay engages in extensive community outreach and education programs, as I mentioned earlier. They offer educational programs for schools and community groups, teaching about marine biology, pollution prevention, and sustainable practices. These programs aim to inspire environmental stewardship and empower individuals to take action to protect local waterways and coastal habitats. We have all been to the beach at one time or another, and trust me, this is the season to go to the beach. And, it's nice to go to the beach and see a clean beach and know that one person at a time can make a difference. For more information how you could get involved or donate, please visit healthebay.org, and that's HealTheBA.org.
This, if I could just jump in there for 1 second, this is very timely because we have been talking all week about how dirty LA County beaches have been for the duration of this summer, and how the beach warnings had gone out where we weren't supposed to swim in them. We weren't supposed to do anything in the water, and to know that someone is actively caring and going above and beyond what the county is doing is encouraging, honestly.
Right. Well, here's the thing is that there is a big body of water. We live by a big body of water, and the beach and the sand goes on for days. And even if it's 1 mile of a clean beach, it is such a big difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It does matter.
And it is so nice to see, even one part that is no seaweed, no bottle caps, no soda cans, no bottle of water. It's so nice to see that. And it's so nice to have an organization that is making a difference. Like you say, one piece of trash at a time, but I don't think the beaches can, here in Southern California, can all be cleaned on one day, unless there was about 3 million people that went out and volunteered. But
And it still may not be enough.
And it still may not be enough. But I tell you that I'm so glad that this young lady, Tina Ramirez, I want to say thank you for letting me shadow you and for being my youngest hidden gem. And go class of 2025.
I was asking, so she's what? 17?
Yes.
See, I wish I was wired a little bit differently. When I was 17, I wasn't thinking about the world on any level. I was thinking about me and what I need to. Yes. And what I was trying to do either that night, that weekend, or, my immediate future. I couldn't even conceive. I know it's a little bit different because we do have the internet. We have a degree of a wherewithal and understanding of our world beyond just our immediate circumstances.
Correct.
But we're not all wired the same way to care about something greater than us or something that's completely unrelated to us. The beach is not us. It may be in our neighborhood, but it's not something that I don't know that everyone thinks in those terms, especially at that young age. I know I did not.
Well, I have to say something, and here's the other thing. At least when I was in high school back in the late 1900s, we didn't have, sign up and volunteer for this or sign up and volunteer for that. And we didn't have to do community service. You know what I mean? Nowadays in high school, even when my daughter, she graduated in class of 2022, she had to do community service, and she had to get it signed from the director, and they had to put a stamp or something saying that she did so many hours. So the fact that, and I do believe if I'm correct, they do require it from many of the schools here in Los Angeles. And so we didn't have those options, and now there is more awareness. And yes, she is a beachgoer, of course. But when you have someone going, hey, these are the places you could volunteer, pick one of the 10, and then, give your time, then I think that's when you kind of have that spark that I fell in love with something and I want to keep on doing this.
That's good that schools are being active in the creation of not only good students, but good citizens.
Correct.
And that's something I don't think anyone can really argue with or complain with. We need more good citizens out there. It's nice to have some good students, but we need some good citizens and some good people who are, I'll say, social minded, who care about someone or something other than just themselves in this selfie society that we live in today.
Mm-hmm. So side note, Mo, would you and I be friends in high school? We went to the same high school.
Look, if we went to the same high school, I'll tell you this right now.
What?
I'm quite sure you were pretty popular with the guys in high school. I was a band geek, so probably not.
Oh.
You probably weren't checking. Were you one of those young women who dated the athletes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, uh-huh. You were not, no, we probably would not be in the same social group.
I plead the fifth, but I will say this. I was friends with everyone from different color, from different sizes. I even had a good friend that was in special ed.
Oh, some of your best friends were nerds. That's what you're trying to tell me.
No, but I'm saying I was popular and I was cool, but I loved all people and I still love all people. If you're good to me, I'm good to you. That's how it works.
Not all people loved me. Not all people love the nerds.
Okay.
Not all people love the people in band.
I touched a nerve.
I was nerdy. I was geeky. I was awkward. Look at me now. I'm nerdy. I'm geeky, and I'm awkward. The more things change, the more they stay the same. When we come back, we have the Rahner Report with none other than Mark Rahner. So keep it right here.
Now on Nature with Mo Kelly. Mark talks about movies and TV. Pontificates about pop culture. Rahner Report with Mark Rahner.
KFI AM 640 is later with Mo Kelly, but coming up right now is the Rahner Report with the Mark Rahner.
Longlegs is a serial killer suspense horror movie that seemed to slip under the radar, come out of nowhere, just kind of appeared. It's got Nick Cage as the bad guy, but he's not really featured in any of the ads or commercials or the poster. Here's a bit of the trailer.
Is it scary being a lady FBI agent?
Yeah.
Take a nice long look. A letter was left with the bodies. Signed with one word.
I saw a
beast rises up out of the sea with 7 heads and 10 horns. And on his horns he wore 10 crowns. And on each head was written a blasphemous name.
What aren't you telling me?
He'll kill and kill again.
I know you're not afraid of a little bit of dark. Because you are the dark.
Okay, are you scared yet? Are you scared? It stars Micah Monroe, who you might remember from another unsettling little horror movie from a few years back called It Follows. She plays an FBI agent with some sort of not too well-defined psychic ability, and she's on the case of a serial killer who kills families with children pretty gruesomely, but who doesn't seem to be doing it himself. Blair Underwood, where's that guy been? It's her FBI supervisor. This is like one of those Quentin Tarantino rediscoveries. Kind of inspired casting here. He's the older boss mentor figure. Alicia Witt plays the agent's mom. And on a vain personal note, it's weird to me to see Alicia Witt playing a mom now. My God, I feel old. There's also a satanic occult angle to this story, but it's not a full-on devil or exorcist ordeal. In fact, I don't want to tell you too much about this movie, which can be awkward in a movie review, because I think it's best to go into this one cold and just strap in. What I will say is, Longlegs, pardon me, it's very creepy and disturbing. It's a bit of a slow burn, but the atmosphere and the dread are really messed up and palpable from the get-go. It made me jump a few minutes into the movie, and that doesn't happen too often. You might get some vibes of other movies like maybe Seven or Silence of the Lambs. It made me think of a terrific Japanese thriller that stuck with me ever since I saw it in 1997 called Cure by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Seek that one out. But this isn't really directly like any of those other movies, just vibes. Longlegs is its own thing. It's worth seeing in a theater if you're into disturbing stories that'll make you feel like you started off, like, say, watching a true crime show, and then things spiraled into horror like a carnival ride, and you can't get off it until it's come to a complete stop. It gets pretty messed up. This is an original. It's not tongue-in-cheek at all. It's not a remake or a sequel. If you take a first date you don't know very well, you may be back to swiping left and right again pretty much immediately. Now let's talk about Nick Cage. It's probably hard to know what to do with him at this point because he's so well known and his eccentricities and over-the-top persona are so well known. I couldn't stand the Renfield movie with him as Dracula, but I loved Pig and I loved Mandy, and I think those are both streaming on Hulu now. So there's a couple more to add to your list if you've missed those. And since we're talking about recent Cage, The Color Out of Space from an H.P. Lovecraft story isn't bad either. When you get to something meta, like The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, where Cage himself is a character, I think you're kind of in John Malkovich territory, and I don't know where you go from there. You certainly don't disappear into roles as an actor anymore. Well, this is a good use of Cage. He is an exceptionally bizarre killer, and that doesn't spoil a thing for you. Here's the message from a promotional phone number for the movie with a recording from Cage in character.
Little angel. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Now, I first listened to that while the long-suffering one was in the room and didn't know what it was, and the expressions on her face were quite enjoyable. This is from IMDb. It says, test audiences praised Nicolas Cage's performance and mentioned that he was so off-putting that it could potentially scare viewers off. Now, that's quite a compliment. The perpetrator of all this is a writer and director named Osgood Perkins, a.k.a. Oz Perkins. He's done a handful of other spooky things, including The Blackcoat's Daughter, Gretel and Hansel, and I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. He should probably be on a law enforcement watch list of some sort, and I can't wait to see what he does next. He's also an actor who's popped up in Legally Blonde, in Nope, and other random incongruous things over the years. Again, maybe an ankle monitor for him, something. Here's your pull quote, publicists. Longlegs, no one's going to spread them for you after the movie.
Huh?
But it will bother you for a while. And just one more thing. I'm a fan of watching other people watch horror movies. My God, I'd love to see this one again if I could sit next to Tawala.
I don't think he's going to allow you.
No, I don't think he is. It's very worthwhile. And Mo, I know that you're going to be first in line to see this.
I actually might, if only because I'm a Nicolas Cage fan. Not so much of his singing, but his acting.
I admire the real strategic way they're kind of keeping him hidden. It really heightens the impact when you do see him because we're all so used to him. I mean, we've grown up with him. When you see him in this, it's not what you expect, no matter what you've heard me say here tonight.
It's hard to believe, but he's had like almost 40 years in the business on screen that we've seen him.
Yeah, we really have grown up with him, and he's younger than I thought. I think he's only 59 or 60, something like that. And he's been around since Valley Girl, I think.
Is that 84?
80-ish, yes, somewhere around there. He's been in so many things, and you do have to kind of admire the way he reinvents himself, even if I did admittedly hate Renfield. They're not all going to be winners, okay?
No, I didn't like everything, but I've seen just about everything of his, and Renfield was not a great movie, but that's okay. I can name any great actor, and they've had some not-so-great movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it takes something to we've talked before about how if you've got actors who are either well known or of limited range, and I don't think he's of limited range, you got to find the right vehicle for them. Like my favorite example is Steve McQueen, because I love Steve McQueen. I think he's the coolest man who ever lived, but I don't think he was a terrific actor. Same with Clint Eastwood. And they put him to good use in this. If you think that phone call was creepy, you're going to enjoy this movie. And there were some younger people in the auditorium with me, and I was kind of keeping an eye on them, but I didn't want to keep too close of an eye on them because apparently school's out and they were sort of younger people, and that would have been creepy.
Oh, so you don't do creepy now?
I try not to, unless there's good money involved.
Okay. I'll try to remember that. When we come back, the new trailer has dropped for Captain America, Brave New World, and everyone is talking about it. And also, we have to go back to the very first Name That Movie cult classic. You made fun of me. You thought I was out of my mind because a movie I said was a cult classic, you said was not a cult classic. Well, I have the proof now, the definitive proof that it is a cult classic, and you will all have to apologize to me. Or not, but I'll at least present the case for it.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
We go back to the very first week of the show. The very first Name That Movie cult classic. One of the first clips which was chosen by someone was the movie The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. It had all these NBA stars of the day, late 1970s, in the movie. It had all sorts of cameos. People like Stockard Channing, Jonathan Winters. Big names. And I was ridiculed saying, that's not a movie cult classic. I've never heard of that. And I heard from callers. I heard from people on social media saying that I had no idea what I was talking about. And now, today, I am vindicated. On a friend's show on KGLH 102.3, host Tammy Mack, who's been a guest on this show, she was conducting an interview with the legendary Debbie Allen, the great choreographer, iconic actress, dancer. You may know her from Fame and other projects. And in the course of the conversation, Tammy Mack, the host of the show, let Debbie know that she's been a longtime fan of her. Well, let me just play the audio and just go ahead and get my vindication.
It was the world that I was most interested in, and so that turned into everything, and here I am.
I remember you. This is my favorite. Everybody remembers you from Fame. Not me, sister. I remember you from the fish that saved Pittsburgh.
Girl, stop.
And tell me I'm not a fan. Don't you dare.
That is all the way at the beginning. Girl, stop walking around in those plastic pants, those see-through pants. That movie, I put that a big chapter in my book. That's when I met my husband, Norman. I met him on that job. But every basketball star in the world was in that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm running around in those plastic pants. Girl, it was more than hot. It was worse than hot. That's all I can tell you.
Well, how did you pick Norman out of all of those basketball players?
I was trying not to pick him. I thought he was so arrogant and all like that.
Ooh.
But you know what? He was his own man. The moment I met him, I liked him. And it took us a couple of years before we got together. When I came to L.A., I went to a Laker game, and he looked up. He said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm working here on a show called Fame." He said, "You've been here?" I said, "Oh, a couple of months." "And you haven't called me?" I'm like, "No." And it turned out it was like oil and water that just exploded.
Yeah,
the two of us.
yeah. And how many years now?
40 years of
Lord
marriage.
Jesus.
40 years later, I have been vindicated. Thank you, Tammy Mack. Thank you, Debbie Allen. The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh is a veritable cult classic. Let me just say this real quick before we get into Captain America. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in the movie. Julius Erving, Dr. J, Jonathan Winters. I told you about Stockard Channing, Flip Wilson. So many recognizable names, faces, stars. I think everyone owes me an apology. I'll wait.
I will apologize. I'll be the first to apologize because when I heard this on the radio, I almost crashed when I heard them going on and on about this film that I thought you were the only one that knew it existed. Mm-hmm. And they had a full-on conversation. It literally spawned a marriage that's strong and creating all types of projects. 40 years later.
That's right.
I apologize.
Okay. All right. I'm waiting. Stefan, go ahead. I'm waiting.
Sorry, Mo.
Mark wasn't here at the time, so I won't hold him to that standard.
No, I've never seen it. It looks terrific. I gotta watch this.
You really haven't seen it?
No.
As a cinephile? You didn't know about this? It had every top NBA player in the 1970s in the movie.
Meadowlark Lemon, it looks
yes.
like. Yeah. Yes. I can't wait to track this down.
Oh, it's not too hard. They have it on like Google Play. You can download it. It's actually, I think it's on YouTube as well. The full movie.
Yeah, I've been on a binge this week. I caught up on some other classics, so this will be a good third one for me.
We'll get back to that in just a second. Tuala, there was a big trailer which dropped today.
One of the biggest trailers, one trailer that we've been waiting for. Everyone thought that Deadpool Wolverine was going to be it. But when you see the trailer for Captain America Brave New World, the MCU is back, baby.
Wilson. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for the invite, sir. I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look.
They said lose the mustache or lose the election. You and I haven't always agreed in the past, but I want to make another run at making Captain America an official military position.
And if we disagree on how to manage this situation, then what happens?
Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward.
Sir, your inner circle's been compromised. Either you can't see that or you don't want to.
What if it's a trap? Global power is shifting. You're just a pawn. You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not.
Harrison Ford, Tim Blake Nelson, obviously Anthony Mackie, and there are going to be some other surprises. I cannot wait.
Giancarlo Esposito. And one thing that everyone is losing their mind over this trailer, which lets you know how big this film is going to be. One of the big bads in this film, and the character we didn't think we'd see until we saw the film, and the trailer's out there, so this is not a spoiler. You heard the trailer. I promise you, you've seen the trailer. Trailer's broken records. Is the debut of Harrison Ford, Thaddeus Ross as Red Hulk. That's amazing. That's mind blowing.
I can't wait. It has the tonality that I wanted and missed from the previous movies. It's reminiscent. Well, it's actually an extension of Falcon and Winter Soldier Disney Plus series and an extension of Captain America, the Winter Soldier movie. Tonality. It's serious. It's all dead serious. That's what I wanted them to go back to, and it seems they're going to do just that. I cannot wait to see this February 14th, 2025. Mark, any thoughts before we go to break?
The trailer is so much better than I hoped it could be. The Winter Soldier, for my money, is probably the best of the Marvel movies.
It is.
Certainly there's none better. And I just think they hit all the marks with that one, and this looks like it's got the same vibe, the same sensibility. I cannot wait to see this.
Oh, cannot wait. And we get Deadpool and Wolverine in the meantime, which maybe will have some impact on that movie. There may be some threads that will lead into that movie, but we'll have to wait and see. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Your vaccine for stupidity. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles. Orange County.
Live.